Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cox, all set for the action here. You know, Steve Valley, when we looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season, we saw Xaverian and the two out-of-state teams. We saw St. John's Prep and Fitchburg. No one looked ahead to this date as a pivotal date, but in fact it is, because the winner here very likely will go to the postseason.
Absolutely. You think of all the strong teams that Brockton beat this year. You think, well, New Bedford, maybe they'll take it easy. It's not the case at all. Brockton's whole season rides on this game, as does New Bedford. And the big question here today is, we know what you're going to get from Brockton. You're going to get power running football. You're going to get defense. You're going to have a high level of intensity. But the big question is New Bedford today. They're sort of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They got blown out by a Plymouth team that Brockton blew out, but yet next week they get very, very close to Xaverian. In fact, Xaverian beats New Bedford with 9 seconds left. If New Bedford can bring in that type of effort today, we could have a heck of a football game here.
A lot on the line here at Marciano Stadium as we have the action for you coming up with the lineups in just a moment. Stay with us.
Tough issues. The Family Course Consortium believes smoking shouldn't be a part of growing up.
The Whalers take the field at Rocky Marciano Stadium, dressed in their road whites, the red and yellow trim. The Boxers, of course, back in their home black jerseys after a couple of weeks on the road. Last week, an off week for Brockton. The week before, they played their annual Friday night affair, or biannual, I should say, Friday night affair up in Leominster. And prior to that, they were down in Fall River to play Durfee. So now back at home for the next to last time, and the Boxers taking the field, looking to extend a 7-game winning streak. Dropping the first game of the season, it's been all W since then, and they've looked good doing it most of the time.
Very good, I might add. You know, we went up to Leominster, and it just wasn't as intense as it's been in past years. You remember '88, but week after week, I say that the crowds here in Brockton are horrible. Leominster had the same problem up there, and especially when Brockton comes, you figure it's going to be a jam-packed house.
The captain's set to get to the center of the field. Lucian Belanger for the Boxers. 3 captains will head out there for the Whalers. Jeff Correa, speedy wide receiver, number 82. 55 is lineman Rich Ribeiro. And the gentleman in the middle that you'll see, number 42, Chris Gula. He is the starting nose tackle.
And do you remember last year when we put the heights up? He was playing against Brent Warren, who's 6'6", 295. I remember the freeze frame we had with the graphics showing the space in between both of them.
And Gula listed at 5'1". Let's listen into the coin toss.
Okay, you're going to do the clocking.
Captain's meeting in the center of the field.
Okay, it's a quarter.
The New Bedford, number 42, Chris Gula. Number 55, Rich Ribeiro.
And the umpire
Number 82,
will call
Jeff
point.
Correa. Captain of the Brockton Boxers,
He
number
called.
35, Lucian Belanger.
Call it, no call. Your call. We're going to try it again. This is the first right? Follow the air. Woo! Now, head. The tail. They'll take the football. Okay, put your back to it, please. Drop in your here.
You know, Tim, you know, when a coin flip is in the air, that's the object. You really have to make a call on it.
I think maybe that's one reason the Boxers went with the solo captain this year. No captaincy by committee.
No indecision.
You know who it is that's going to make the call. So New Bedford neglected to call it, finally did, and Brockton wins the toss. As you heard, the Boxers will elect to take the ball to start the game and see if they can get the offense clicking the first time around. Brockton, as we said in the open, needing a victory today in spite of their impressive 7-1 record, their #1 ranking in Eastern Mass football. They need to win today to get to the postseason. That's the downside of playing in the Big 3 conference.
Now,
one loss can knock you right out.
New Bedford is in the same boat. They're 3-4 right now. But if they win today and beat Durfee on Thanksgiving Day, they're in the Super Bowl. So a #1 ranking in Eastern Mass, you can throw it out the door. It all comes down to today.
As you probably recall, in the days of the Super Bowl, ratings were more important in determining who would go. Now that we have 4 teams from each division going to postseason play, it is determined by league championships. For the Big Three Conference, as Steve alluded to, the team that finishes 2-1, if there's only one of them, will go to the Super Bowl, in spite of the fact that New Bedford currently has a losing record. So this is a very important game. New Bedford has been Jekyll and Hyde throughout the year. They've lost to Plymouth badly. They lost to a Division III school.
They started
Mansfield.
out to Mansfield. Team took Mansfield very lightly. They opened up the season. The players saw Division III. They said, the Division III, we can walk right over them. They lost to BC High 22-21. They fumbled twice on scoring drives. So they are a quality team. It's just they need that high level of intensity that Brockton has shown us since the first week of the season.
Corey Medeiros, number 14, set to kick off.
Quarterback last season.
The Boxers defending the goal to our right with their usual 4-man setup back there. A little bit of a sun problem at that end of the field. Alan Bursey will try to scoop the ball up. He'll just down it now at the 28 on the rolling kickoff, and the Boxers will get their offense started from there. And we'll take a look at the offense that the Boxers will send out there. The offensive line unit, the same that's done the job throughout the year. Big Brent Warren, we mentioned a moment ago. Chris Plord, Gregory, Sykos, and Reardon opened up an awful lot of holes for these people. Mike Shaheen matures every week as a quarterback. Bourne, Mosley, Belanger, all in the backfield. Bernard and Pina in the 2 tight end set. And we'll check the New Bedford defense for you after this opening play. Boxers 1st and 10 from their 28, 11-minute quarters in Big Three Conference play. And the first give goes to the fullback, Jason Mosley. Good for 4 across to the 32-yard line. And let's check that New Bedford defense. The starting defensive line, Medeiros, who did the kicking off at one end, along with Kevin Bernardo, Cardozo, Ribeiro, and Chris Gula, we mentioned, at the nose tackle. One of the Goodine brothers, along with Chris Gomes, linebackers, Jeff Correa and Joe Tirado are the cornerbacks, John Casey and Rudy Bulgar at the safety spots. So 2nd and 6 for the Boxers from their own 32. In motion, Mosley. And Michael Bourne for his first carry. Good penetration by New Bedford, but Bourne escapes and goes down the right sideline. Gula is the closest, and Bourne goes the distance.
Unbelievable.
Second play from scrimmage, first carry for Bourne, 68 yards for the score.
Explosion by Mike Bourne. Watch this, they run the option. It's not even an option, it's a sweep to the right-hand side. Good penetration by New Bedford, but Bourne with his speed. Watch the hurdle right over here. He hurdles over one of the white shirts, and after that, it's just real estate in front of him to the end zone.
Well, we're glad we showed you the New Bedford defense when we did, because they're going to get a rest now for a while. As Alan Bursey comes on, he's had some trouble with the extra points, but they'll stick with him. And this one is up and good. So Bursey is good for the point after, and the Boxers jump out to a very quick 7-0 lead on the 68-yard score by Michael Bourne. And that will very quickly add some dollars to the Cape Cod Cafe Dollars for Points program. Now up to $840 on the season, contributed by the COD to the Brockton High School Athletic Fund. That's $4 for every point scored. A quick 28 in the first minute of play here at Marciano Stadium gets us up to $840 on the year. And Michael Bourne just acting like that week off made absolutely no difference to him.
Mike Bourne, that's his 12th touchdown of the year. Brockton's averaging 26 points a game. Mike Bourne has already cracked the 1,000-yard mark this year. 129 runs, 130, add on 68 yards to 1,047, 1,100 over that. Averages 8.1 yards a game.
Until this carry.
Until this one, it's going to boost it up, and 131 yards total for a game. Very, very explosive, as he showed right there.
And when we look back to game number 1 on the schedule, when Michael struggled against Wagner, along with the rest of the team.
Not only on the ground, though, but he had a bad case of fumbleitis.
And his confidence has climbed as Medeiros, the kicker, receives a kick for a change. And the short one by Bursey ends up at the New Bedford 30. Jason Mosley there on the stop, and New Bedford gets the ball for the first time. suddenly in a hole just over a minute into the game. As we check the New Bedford offense for you, we talk about that Plymouth game, but something to remember is that starting quarterback Matt Trahan was not in the lineup that day.
He was disciplined that day. Corey Medeiros, last year's starting quarterback, as we take a look at the line, not a lot of size, but they make that up. They make up for that, as they do every year, with speed. They have a lot of speed.
JoJo Goodine, the back
Correa
to watch. Jeff Correa, the receiver, who can really fly, as Trahan on the option will keep it and get about 3.
Now their backfield, Mendez and Goodine, are just sophomores. They're just sophomores. So they're youngsters. We saw them last year as freshmen. They're, again, not a lot of size. We see Brockton. No need to change something that's not broke. This is the best defense in the state right now. And I don't know of too many people that would argue with that statement with me.
New Bedford will find out firsthand today. They've got a 2nd and 8 from their own 32. Trahan with the backs in the I formation behind him. And he rolls left. Quick toss and a catch. Just a few yards downfield, not a lot of yardage there.
Now what New Bedford will want to do today, they're playing under first-year coach Wayne Hamlin. Joe Worth, who coached for 8 seasons, is now defensive coordinator at University of New Haven, and they're one of the top 5 teams in the country. Hamlet's in his first year. He likes to spread the field. He'll run the wishbone, he'll run multiple offenses. He likes to spread it out. Watch 82 Correa. He's a speed demon. He burnt Brockton last year.
The catch by tight end Goodine, good for another 6 yards and brings up a 3rd down 3. Actually 5 yards on the gain, and this is the first down. Sprinting through a hole up the middle is JoJo Goodine, the sophomore brother of TJ, and he's got the first down out near midfield. So New Bedford sustains the drive on 3rd and 3.
They're running off tackle behind big number 75, John Preston, 6'6", 210, and he cleared out a huge hole.
Preston,
nothing fancy, just power football right there, giving Brockton a dose of their own.
Preston pretty much
nice
is
hole.
the size on that offensive line, and he's got plenty of it. 1st and 10 from the 47, and a roll right for Trahan, looking right and finding a receiver, Derek Duclos, the split end. And that is good for 1st down yardage at the 41 of Brockton. So the passing game of New Bedford picks up the 1st down after the previous play in which the rushing game did the job.
Now, a key to New Bedford, this I heard on the field before the game, Trahan actually throws better left. He has a tendency to lead his receivers too much when he sprints out and rolls out to the right. That time he was right in the money to Duclos.
And he won't spend much time in the pocket either. He'll go left or right. And this time he goes to the backfield. Sharik Mendez, the first carry for him. He's upended after a gain of close to 5. And New Bedford on 3 straight plays has picked up pretty good yardage against the Boxer defense. They're now at the 36 on 2nd down.
Actually, Mendez tripped over Big John Preston. He was on all 4s and he just lifted up at the wrong moment and knocked Mendez down. Mendez is a small guy, 5'5", 155 pounds. And Goodine's not much bigger, 5'8", 150.
Now, both small backs, but very quick. 2nd and 5 now at the 36 of Brockton. 7:05 to play. The clock continues to run as New Bedford able to keep the ball on the ground, and they'll be close to 1st down yardage at the 30. Semper, along with Stroud and Jacques on the tackle, and it is a 1st down just outside the 30-yard line.
They're putting together quite a nice drive right here. Mixing it up as they always do. It looks like they may have brought that intensity from last week's Severian loss. You know, they had Severian the whole game. Greg Camella punches it in with 9 seconds left. That can take a lot out of a team. New Bedford seems to have rebounded this week.
They're thriving on it now. 2 wide receivers to the left of the field, and the pitch goes to Mendez. He is faced in the backfield by Reardon, but the good move by Mendez gets a few yards over the 30 on the left side.
Reardon is getting into the backfield, but these guys are too quick for Danny. Danny Reardon can't move as laterally as quick as Mendez and Goodine, and although Danny's there for the stop, they're just running by him. Good penetration. Now watch Danny right there. I'm not sure if you can see 71. Mendez just took off to the sidelines.
Picked up 4, so it's 2nd and 6 at the Brockton 27. Duclos and Goodine now to the near side of the field. And the lone setback is Mendez as JoJo Goodine is in a slot position, and he's the intended receiver. Nice catch by Goodine. He'll be, I think, just a bit short of first down yardage as Velios gave him a pop, but an excellent catch by JoJo Goodine out of the backfield.
Ball wasn't on target. Incredible catch. You know, for a kid like Jason Mosley or Lucian Belanger, that would have been right in the money. But since Goodine's only 5'8", he had to hop up in a beautiful one-handed grab.
Just a sophomore, good presence of mind to make that catch and pick up yardage very close to what they needed. It'll be 3rd and short 1 at the 22 of Brockton. And this is a 4-down territory. I would think we have a penalty flag, perhaps delay of game for the Whalers, and that'll hurt when they're that close. No, it's a legal procedure. It'll still hurt. 5 yards will push them back into passing situations.
But the way they're moving the ball on the ground and through the air, they have Brockton guessing right now. What are they going to do?
That's the idea of the balanced attack. And so far it's worked for New Bedford. The Brockton offense didn't get a chance to do much of that. 2 plays into the game, Michael Bourne was gone, 68 yards.
Nor are we complaining about that.
Already down to 4:30 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Brockton. Straight drop. Trahan again. Goodine, a nice catch, turning the other way and getting the first down at the 14-yard line. So a first down catch by TJ Goodine, the tight end, earlier in the drive, and now 2 straight catches by JoJo out of the backfield on 2 fine plays.
Watch this right here. He's in dead man's lane. This is the linebacker's man. The linebacker's responsibility is the running back. Nice job. See, Trahan's not on the money with the throws, but his receivers are making up for it. Nice grab.
And especially JoJo Goodine. 1st and 10 at the Brockton 14. A great sustained drive and a mix-up. Goodine gets the ball. He wasn't supposed to. Persampieri hauls him down, but it'll be a face mask. Jason just reached around the shoulder and accidentally grabbed the face mask, enough to get Goodine down, but it'll cost the Boxers at least 5.
Maybe even more if it was intentional. No, they're going to say 5 yards. He knew he did it. Guilty as charged. New Bedford's impressing me a lot right here.
They pick up the free first down on that penalty as well. Automatic first down. Just outside the 10-yard line. And it's not clear whether it'll be a 1st and 5 or 1st and 10. They still have the sticks at the 5-yard line, but we don't know whether New Bedford can get a first down or not. Goodine almost coughs up the ball as he's popped in the backfield by Dan Reardon.
Now that time was just a runoff tackle, and Danny Reardon was back there again, but this time the play was designed to go to the 3 or 4 hole, right into Danny Reardon, and he popped Goodine. It's a nice job just to hold on the ball. Nice play by number 71 in the black shirt.
All right, apparently the Whalers can get a first down at the 5-yard line, so it was a 1st and 5 with a loss of 1 on that play, gives us 2nd and 6 at the 11, and the Whalers can get a first down at the 5. Should they get there? Trahan rolling left and looking end zone, or just short of the end zone. He throws it out of bounds. Duclos got a hand on it.
His receiver fell down, and even though Duclos did fall down, I think that ball was a little bit out of reach.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice pressure by Brockton again.
And Velios had good coverage on the play as well. So it brings up 3rd and 6 now, and the clock stops for a change at 2:29 to play. It's been a very quick quarter with this long drive. New Bedford has kept it on the ground. When they've gone to the air, it's been complete and inbounds, so the clock has rolled on, but now it's stopped just inside of 2.5 minutes to play.
Psychos goes out. Larry Stroud comes in for the extra linebacker or defensive end. Watch him in there. He could provide big pressure for Brockton.
3rd down 6, big play on this long drive. And it is Mendez right up the middle, gets nowhere. Reardon and then Persampieri made sure the little guy didn't get far.
Now that's a
bring
play
up the 4th down.
I don't understand. They've been so successful with the right rollout. I just don't understand that call by the New Bedford coaching staff.
So many times, Steve, you see a team that is able to move the ball upfield, but they get inside that red zone and just don't have enough room to operate.
You know what it is a lot? Once you use a play several times on a drive, the defense is looking for it. So when you see teams in 3rd and long situations try to draw, it's because they've already used the outside sweeps and the passes They want to try to surprise the defense. That time it didn't work. Brockton knew exactly what was coming.
That's the spot New Bedford has to get to. They're taking a timeout with 4th and 6. They gave Mendez progress to the 10-yard line, and that will make it 4th and 5.
They're going to go for it.
But they appear to be going for it. Trahan is there, and the rest of the lineup that started this game. 2 different kickers warming up in pregame. Kevin Bernardo was kicking field goals along with Corey Medeiros. But apparently neither will get the call here.
Well, let's see what Brockton does defensively. See if they stack the line. Now I see Psychos is still out. Larry Stroud is in. Let's see where he lines up. He'll line up against Jeff Correa. Mosley, they're stacked right. Watch for him to throw right if they do throw the ball.
Trahan, in fact, does sprint right and looking and in trouble. Throws it for Mendez as he's hit by Stroud. It's incomplete, and the Boxers take over. Good coverage downfield and good pressure by Jason Mosley and Larry Stroud.
That's good coaching right there, because Dave Foraker, one of the JV coaches, told me if the receivers are lined up right, Trahan will sprint right and throw right. Brockton knew exactly what was going to happen, as you see Larry Stroud and Mosley providing a little bit of discomfort for Trahan.
You also see on that sort of a play how little room there really is for the receivers. They're confined to one half of the field.
Exactly.
They know the quarterback's going to be on that half of the field, and there just isn't much room for them to get open against a good defense. So the Boxers hold fast and take over 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line, leading 7-0 as Mosley goes in motion. And the first carry of the day for Captain Belanger. Not much there, maybe a yard.
New Bedford took a lot of time off the clock, about 7 minutes, 40 seconds, and they come up empty.
Lucian Belanger inserted into the backfield after the first game of the season, became a runner for the first time in his high school career, and since then has become the number 2 yardage man in that Brockton backfield. Not bad.
525 yards. He averages near 7 yards a carry on 74 runs.
And he's almost automatic on 3rd and short. But we have 2nd and long, 2nd and 9 after the gain of 1. Bourne gets a good hole and just loses his balance as he's hit by Rudy Bulgar.
Good sign for Brockton right here. Look at how far Brent Warren is upfield. New Bedford's going to have problems all day long trying to outpower and outmaneuver Brockton's offensive line. And right off the bat, when an offensive lineman is 10 yards up the field on a good run, you know something's wrong there.
Very close to first down yardage. Bourne came up about 2 feet short, and it's 3rd and 1 just across the 19-yard line. And this is Bourne to get what he needed and a couple of more. Corey Medeiros on the stop, and Michael Bourne with the first down on his 3rd carry.
Bourne already has 81 yards on 3 carries. Of course, the 68-yard touchdown will help that.
That'll do it. Bourne has been among the Division I leaders in scoring for most of the season.
He's up
and
there.
His touchdown today, number 12, keeps him right up near the top of the pack. 1st and 10, Brockton at their own 23. And the give to Mosley. Jason finds the going a little rough, but is able to get across the 25, gain of 3 on the play.
This play is a definite, well, a good call for a pass right here. Well, that's going to be the end of the first quarter, maybe in the second quarter. But I'd say Armin Colombo's got something tricky up his sleeve. It's a good time for a pass.
By my calculations, we played an 11-minute quarter in about 17 minutes. Not bad. 7-0 Boxers on the 68-yard score by Bourne. Second quarter action coming up next.
It's quick! You turn 18. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
There's Corey Medeiros, or Matt Trahan, the quarterback, on the sidelines, waiting for another shot. He led a very successful drive in terms of time consumed and yardage gained, but no points, as the Whalers were stopped on 4th and 5 deep in Brockton territory. On the scoring leaders, Michael Bourne came into today's action with 11 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions, good for 72 points. That's 14 points off the pace set by Greg Camella of Zavarian. Well, Camella scored 2 last night, so he's got 16 touchdowns. Jason O'Neill came into this weekend's action with 14 touchdowns for Barnstable. Paul Nolan of Somerville with 13, and then a couple of players with 12. So Bourne is right up there near the top of the pack, but Camella, I believe, still leads everyone in Division I for the Zavarian Hawks. Boxers on 2nd and 7 don't get much, as Belanger is stopped quickly by Brian Cardozo.
One of the few times this season where Lucian Belanger has been stopped at the line of scrimmage. Nice defensive play.
3rd and a long 6 now at the 27-yard line. And the Boxers stay with the 2 tight end formation, so
watch for a screen right here.
anything could happen, but it's a running formation that they keep in there on 3rd and 7. An option, the pitch to Bourne, and he had no chance. And the ball is loose. It is New Bedford ball.
Everyone on the field thought the referee blew the whistle. The fans started yelling, ball, ball. I thought Bourne was down. Actually, let's take a look at it right here.
That's why there was the momentary hesitation.
Let's see if he's down.
As Medeiros hits him quickly. No, he was not down. The ball popped loose. Good call.
Nice call.
Good call by the officials to swallow the whistle, and good poise by the New Bedford defense to grab it.
Give a plug. Give an attaboy to the New Bedford fans here.
Absolutely, that helped. Medeiros, Ribeiro, and Cardozo were all right there. 2 of them on the quarterback, Shaheen, and Medeiros was the one who hit Bourne right away, jarred it loose, and the Whalers take over in Brockton territory. Mendez gets about a yard. Belanger and Persampieri stop his progress there. But it brings up 2nd down and 9 from the 23 of Brockton. The Whalers put together a long drive deep into Brockton territory their first time around, but couldn't score. Let's see how they fare, starting with excellent field position inside the Brockton 25.
Well, they had a 12-play, 7-minute drive with no points, so obviously they want to get something right here.
They'll call it 2nd and 10, so less than a yard gained by Mendez on the play. This time Trahan keeps it and finds a big alley there as Jacques rides him out of bounds, but a first down for Trahan, and someone just did not pick up the option play there.
Actually, you know what it was? Goodine, number 86, got away with a clip on one of the Brockton defensive backs. And Goodine came up with his hands up like he was, watch 86 over here. I believe it was on Michael Landers. Nope, it wasn't on Landers, but he did get away with the clip.
Lost in the background there.
Right there was a little clip on Picard Jacques.
But Trahan picks up the first down yardage to the 11 of Brockton. This is as far as they got on their first drive. Actually to the 10 before being pushed backwards and stalled on 4th down. Trahan pitching back to Goodine. Jojo Goodine for a couple. Bernard, Reardon, Belanger, and Landers all in on the stop. Gain of 2, or a short 2. Actually just about the 10-yard line. So
Tough
they
down
still
there.
haven't crossed that wall.
It's very tough against Brockton down there.
Matt Trahan, the 6-foot, 175-pound senior, has 2 wide receivers, including a newcomer, Marcel Gonsalves, number 5, checked in at the top of the screen. And we'll have a dead ball foul before the snap. Goodine was hit quickly, but I believe this one will come back 5 yards.
That was a little trick play too, a little shuffle pass to Goodine.
And somebody didn't execute properly. So it's 5 yards. And once again,
They're shooting themselves in the foot.
New Bedford got to the 10-yard line and then gets called for a 5-yard penalty, a procedure call, back to the 15. Clock
Maybe
running, 8:25 to play, second quarter.
pushes New Bedford into a passing situation. Brockton has 15 interceptions this season with Velios, Landers, and Semper with 4 each. And after this play, I want to bring up another point.
Second down, 14. Trahan looking right for Correa. Touch. No, he dropped the ball. What's the call? Incomplete. Correa appeared to be in with the ball in control, and it was knocked loose. It's called an incomplete pass. And that's really a break for New Bedford, because had he just had it jarred loose immediately, it might have been called a fumble in the end zone, and Brockton could have taken over.
Well, Trahan has 9 touchdown passes this year, 7 to that young man right there. Let's watch it right here. Correa shoulda, woulda. He definitely should have had this pass. Nice ball on the run.
Yep, he just had a heart attack.
He had it. Too bad.
Yeah, just never did gather it in. The Boxers will take a timeout as the Whalers are faced with 3rd and 14 from the 15-yard line.
That matchup between Correa and Semper is not only on the football field, they run against each other for the 110-meter hurdles, which Troy Semper is one of the top 3, if not the state champion in that. So these two are no strangers. That time, Correa got the better of it, but Semper had the luck.
Correa and Semper have faced off many times on the track, and now here they are, one-on-one on the football field. 8:02 to play, first half. The Boxers scored early. They got the ball, and after a short pickup on first down from the 32-yard line, Michael Bourne went the distance. 68 yards for the score. Alan Bursey for the kick made it 7-0. New Bedford came back with a strong 12-play drive, but were stalled on 4th down deep in Brockton territory. The Boxers came back, coughed it up, and New Bedford now faced with 3rd and 14, trying to even the score. A reminder that we'll be selecting our Cape Cod Cafe player of the game at the conclusion of today's telecast, as we've done every week.
Nobody stands out right now, but then again, we still have a whole 3 quarters of football left.
Awfully long way to go.
Yes, we do.
And, in recent weeks, the Boxers have played great team football, and
Yes,
it's been
they
a little
have.
difficult to select a player out of the crowd because they've all contributed.
See, that's
in
what's
many
so
ways.
nice about this team. They don't have the standouts. It is a combined team effort. And that's what impresses so many people. And that's why I think Armin Colombo is a shoo-in for Division I Coach of the Year this year. The job he's done at the helm of this Brockton team is just immeasurable.
Another big play for the Whalers. 3rd and 14 from the 15-yard line of Brockton, and Trahan under pressure again tries to throw
That's
short to
incomplete.
Mendez, but it's incomplete. Same situation as on 4th down at the other end of the field.
Same 2 players in after him, Mosley and Larry Stroud.
This time I think Landers was in there on Trahan, and Mendez was the emergency receiver, but he couldn't grab this one. It brings up 4th down and long.
Yeah, there's Michael Landers. I saw it too there.
Yeah, it's number 12 Landers in with Mosley, and 22 Mendez. Wouldn't have gotten far as Stroud had him covered. So for the second time in as many possessions, the Whalers have a 4th down and long inside the Brockton 20. This time it's longer, 14 yards for the first down, 15 yards for the score, and Trahan will roll right again. Over the middle, Correa, the intended receiver, and it is intercepted by Jacques. That's one you want to let drop.
Maybe.
Jacques may have seen open real estate and figured he could get some yardage out of it, but the Boxers will actually lose a few yards, as they would have taken over 1st and 10. But hey, why take the chance of having it knocked into a
Exactly.
receiver's hands?
Exactly.
So a smart play by Jacques.
16th interception. They have 9 fumble recoveries, 25 takeaways on defense this year.
That's the first interception of the year for Picard Jacques, who's played well in the secondary. All the other interceptions spread among Patrick Velios, Troy Semper, and Landers. And this is Bourne. Out to the 20-yard line.
He's got something to prove right now because he coughed the ball up in Brockton's last possession.
Now, it's important, I think, for the Boxers to give him the ball.
Absolutely.
Let him run with it, prove that it's not going to happen again. First down for Bourne, 13 yards or 12 on the carry out to the 19-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 from there.
Well, he's averaging about 16 runs a game. So he's about right on course. Of course, they haven't played full games in a while. Durfee, they're out at halftime.
Bourne this time gets only 2 before Corey Medeiros meets him. Tim Cox with Steve Valley at Rocky Marciano Stadium. Of course, we'll be back here on Thanksgiving Day as the Boxers try to get a measure of revenge against Weymouth, the team that shocked them in the final seconds a year ago in Weymouth in front of a huge crowd, but has not lived up to its preseason billing this year. Nevertheless, it's Thanksgiving, it's rivalry, it's tradition, and it's a lot of fun. We hope you'll join us out here at 10 o'clock on Thanksgiving morning. Jason Mosley, a good fake. And, it ends up in the hands of Semper.
Corey Medeiros, number 14, wasn't fooled at all.
I was.
Couple of quick handoffs, and Brockton way back in there. Well, let's see how many yards they lost on that. It'll be 3rd down anyhow and long yardage.
They're back at the 10-yard line.
So they're going to say 20 yards to go?
Just about, just inside the 10-yard line, 3rd down and 20. Landers, Velio, Semper all in as receivers, and Shaheen dropping back over the middle for Belanger. He's tripped up but regains his balance. Lucian Belanger could go the distance. Medeiros and Correa, the speedster, in pursuit. Belanger dragged down by Correa at the 10-yard line. Only the speed of Jeff Correa, the all-state hurdler, prevented Lucian Belanger from going 90 yards.
Yeah, but how about Lucian keeping his balance about 10 yards past the line of scrimmage? Great instincts, kept his balance. There was no one in front of him after that. Correa came from the deep left side of the field, ran a post pattern right to Lucian Belanger, and just caught him. Great play.
80 yards, or we'll call it 79 to the 11 of New Bedford. When it looked as if Belanger might be tripped up short of 1st down yardage, he gets the 1st down and all the way into New Bedford's 11-yard line, and a flag before the snap for illegal procedure. So the Boxers get a bit of that no man's land at the 10-yard line. They can't cross, they go backwards. That's been the point of no return for both teams, but this time it's the Boxers. Will have a 1st and 15 from the 16-yard line. Lucian Belanger on the screen pass. Mosley was also a safety valve off to the right and was open. I thought he might be the man to get the ball. Watch Mosley go to the right.
Well, we're going to have to get back to live action. They're at the line of scrimmage right now.
And the Boxers already had the play called. You see Mosley calling for the ball, but it was Belanger over the middle, and Bourne this time over the left side, back to the original line of scrimmage. Medeiros again, very busy over there with Ribeiro on the stop, along with number 1, Derek Conciso.
Mike Bourne, 6 rushes, 100 yards already.
I was here. Yeah.
It's a gain of 6 for Mike, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 9. Boxers can get a 1st down at the 1-yard line, following the huge screen pass run by Lucian Belanger. Belanger getting the call. No, it's Bourne. He gets across the 10.
Nice tackle.
Great stop by 42. Gula.
And Jeff Correa was also in there. Chris Gula, 5'1". He plays nose tackle. Just unheard of.
And you and I know, as well as a lot of the viewers, that frequently the dimensions credited to the players on the rosters distributed to the fans and the media are exaggerated.
They're not lying on him.
So Gula may, in fact, just be cracking the 5-foot mark. Bourne up the middle. Michael Bourne. He'll be close to the 1st down as he gets to the 1-yard line.
I think he's got the 1st down.
Again, Corey Medeiros, an all-purpose player, number 14, is on the stop, but not before Bourne gets to the 1-yard line.
They're running behind the right side of the line, Psychos and Warren. Just running off tackle. The 4th down, they didn't get the 1st down. They got to be inches away.
They are, in fact, just about a foot away, and the Boxers will take the timeout. 4th down and short at the 1.5-yard line of New Bedford, leading 7-0 with 3:05 to play in the first half. It has been a very quick half, with both teams relying on the run.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor's office of Brockton.
More often than not, we've had 3 timeouts, but still, the game has moved along quickly. So the Boxers will square off with Weymouth here on Thanksgiving Day. New Bedford will battle with the other Big 3 team, Durfee. And again, if the Boxers hang on to win here, they've secured themselves a spot in the Division 1A playoff game.
And their opponent is more and more looking like the winner of the St. John Severian game on Thanksgiving Day.
It's a very confusing setup, but as we understand it, if St. John's defeats Severian, the St. John's enrollment is large enough that they would be the natural opponent for the Boxers. Remember that there are 2 games in each division. League champions play, but the matchups are determined by the enrollment of boys in a given year. So Brockton is in the top 2, and St. John's, should they win on Thanksgiving Day after winning last night, would be another of the 2 largest league champions in Division 1. If, however, Severian defeats St. John's, it is not clear who would be the next
from the Greater
team.
Boston League.
It could even be North Quincy.
When the MIAA realigned, they didn't realize the headaches they were creating for themselves. It's just a mess, and
it really
hopefully it'll get another realignment in the near future, because it's just ludicrous, a 3-team league like the Big 3. It's horrible.
So, full house backfield on 4th and very short for the Boxers at the 2-yard line of New Bedford. Mosley, touchdown.
Jason Mosley, touchdown, Brockton.
The dive gets it all in one package. The first down and the score. Jason Mosley going 1.5 yards. We'll credit him with 2 for the stats as the Boxers open up a 13-0 lead. It wasn't very pretty.
Fancy. Off tackle again. Mosley got up in the air. He was met by a white shirt, but on the deflection, Mosley slid right underneath him into the end zone.
Alan Bursey on to attempt his 2nd point after. And the sophomore puts it through to give the Boxers a 14-0 lead with just over 3 minutes to play in the first half. And with that, the Boxers will climb to $868 in contributions from the Cape Cod Cafe to the Brockton High School Athletic Fund. $4 for every point scored during our telecasts. $28 more on the 7-point score for the Boxers. And that gets us to $868 on the season with a game and a half still to play. Our thanks again to the Cape Cod Cafe and Jim Jamoulas.
You know, Brockton does have a 14-0 lead, but I'm sure Armin Colombo will say at halftime, he's not going to be happy at halftime. New Bedford could very easily have tied this game on 2 occasions. Brockton, this is not the best I've seen Brockton. They've had a week off. I don't think that's it, though. I just think that New Bedford came to play. There's a lot riding on this contest.
2 big plays have been the difference. The 68-yard run by Bourne for the touchdown, the 79-yard screen pass to Belanger that got them all the way down to the 10-yard line. But do not forget that New Bedford has been at the Brockton 10 twice, that the Boxers coughed up the ball in their own territory once. And as Steve said, this could easily be a tie game or worse for the Boxers. The defense has been called upon to stop New Bedford twice on 4th down in their own territory and has done the job, but if pressured repeatedly like that, anything could happen. Jeff Correa across the 30. Correa trying to hurdle past Bursey and dragged down by Michael Landers at the Brockton 45-yard line. He didn't even look like he was at full speed.
He was just choosing his holes. He was running right at a beautiful return by Correa. They've been able to move the ball against Brockton's offense, but once Brockton gets into that goal line stance.
Watch how smooth, this is slow motion, but watch how smooth
he looks like he's skipping. You know, he's just slow, he's reading the picket fence, a cut here, then a cut outside right here. Almost broke it. Mike Landers chased him down.
Great Great return by Correa. Really impressive running by the youngster. Trahan, the short drop, looking for Correa. He has him, and the speedy number 82 is just short of the end zone. Landers, again, is the one to put the stop on Correa.
He's a heck of a receiver right there. 7 touchdown receptions, 9 for Trahan. That was just a matter of height. The short 2-step drop, Correa used his speed to go right by the Brockton defenders. They had Landers and Semper on him.
Jeff Correa, 6'2", 165, a senior.
With a lot of speed.
Terrific athlete. The Boxers get 79 yards on a screen pass. New Bedford comes back with a 42-yard screen pass of their own. And they're knocking at the door for the 3rd time. This time as close as they've been. 1st and goal at the 3. The give to the last man through, Mendez. He is stopped short of the end zone, pushed backwards by Belanger and Reardon and Persampieri.
Now right here, I think that New Bedford should continue to spread the field.
They don't have the size in that backfield or on the offensive
line
to create too many holes up the middle.
They've been semi-successful or very successful in spreading the field, having Trahan roll out to either the left or right. I think they should continue to do that, even though they don't have as much area to work with.
It's a gain of 1 for Mendez, so 2nd and goal from the 2. They have 3 shots to get in, realistically. It is Mendez again. Mendez tripped up, but scoots underneath. Touchdown!
That hasn't been signaled yet.
One official has signaled touchdown.
No, they're not calling it a touchdown.
You're right, Steve. The one official on the near side of the field had the arms up. The referee did not.
And New Bedford's sending on their kicking team. They got to call a timeout.
They are.
They'll delay the game.
The coaches are calling a timeout now because of the mix-up, and Coach Hamlet wants to talk to that official. You can bet he does. He's calling the referee over to find out exactly what happened here. Mendez thought he was in. The whole Whaler team started a celebration when they saw the official signal touchdown, and now Coach Hamlet is out on the field with the referee.
He's out talking to the referee in the white cap. You know, he's always worn shorts. For 19 years, he's always worn shorts. He wore pants for 1 game against Durfee. They lost about 10 years ago.
Hamlet obviously not satisfied with the explanation. It'll be 3rd down and goal inside the 1-yard line. I missed part of that announcement, but Bobby Pileski, I believe, announcing that the Boxers, perhaps state cross-country champions.
Yes, I believe
Was it boys or girls? Did you get a chance to hear that? Girls.
Well,
all right. There's Coach Hamlet.
Pay dirt time right now. You know where it's going. It's going right up the middle.
Still 2 shots for New Bedford. They've gone for it on 4th and 6 and 4th and 14. Why not 4th and inches in the final minute and a half of the 2nd period? They set up again with Mendez, Goodine, and a blocker now in the backfield to try to create the hole. No, it's the first man through, and he's got the score. 43.
Chris Gomes.
Chris Gomes getting his first shot at the backfield, and he hits pay dirt on 3rd down and short with 1:29 to play.
Now remember, all he has to do, the ball just has to cross the line. Forward progression makes it a touchdown because he was dragged back out after he crossed the barrier.
So for the first time, Kevin Bernardo, number 73, on for the extra point. His kick is up, and it is good. The touchdown by Gomes following the big screen pass from Trahan to Jeff Correa down to the 3-yard line, and after getting stalled deep in Brockton territory twice, the New Bedford Whalers break the ice. 14-7 with 1:29 to play in the first half. And you had just said it moments ago that a 2-touchdown lead seems pretty cozy, but it can be deceiving, and now here we are, 1 score separating the 2 teams in the final minute of the first half.
Could very easily be a New Bedford lead. Again, though, New Bedford was down at the 3-yard line. Brockton makes their opposition work for everything they get. A lot of teams would have been scored on the first play down there. Brockton made it tough. And that's how they've been all year long.
So the Boxers with just about a minute and a half to try to put something together. Field position after the kickoff may well determine what they attempt to do and how liberal they are with their offense. Corey Medeiros to kick off as New Bedford closes the gap to 7. Another short kick by Medeiros, fielded almost by Shaheen. He now picks it up and tries to run with it. First man downfield is Jose Tirado. And Shaheen just gets a yard on the return.
For a quarterback, he didn't look like one right there. He looked like a lineman. I think he was thinking of handing off before he actually turned around.
Boxers will start first and 10 from their 29, and here's Mike Shaheen. Took the eyes off the ball, perhaps.
Exactly. He was thinking of who he was going to hand it off to before he actually had the peanut.
Correction, 24-yard line is the line of scrimmage for Brockton, so they have a full 76 yards to go, and they'll set up in their run formation. But they won't run. Shaheen tries to throw, finds a man, and Belanger able to get about 8 yards on the short reception. Had this been the NFL, Shaheen would have been called down in the grass.
What great presence of mind, though, by Mike Shaheen. He's on his way down. Instead of just conceding, he's still looking for a receiver. Watch, he's in the grasp of, well, let's see if we can get a number.
I think it was Goodine.
86.
TJ,
He's in the grasp right there, on his way down. What presence of mind. Finds Lucian Belanger, almost picks up the first down as Corey Medeiros rips him to the turf.
It's a gain of 7 out to the 31-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 3 and a timeout on the field with 1:13 to play in the half. You look in on the New Bedford huddle. And Sharik Mendez, the 5'5" sophomore. A couple of years to do some big things.
You know, when
in the New Bedford backfield.
In a couple of years, New Bedford could be very powerful. Not that they're a quality team right now, as they've proved today, but when that backfield becomes seniors and they get some beef up front, they could be very dangerous.
Both Mendez and Goodine, the starting running backs, are sophomores, and the biggest man on the team, John Preston, the 6'6", 210-pound lineman, also a sophomore. TJ Goodine, their starting tight end, is just a junior. So right there on the offense, you see a pretty good core. So if they get if they've got a good young underclassman who can play some quarterback, then perhaps they've got something going for them. Rudy Bulgar, who is a starting defensive back, is also listed as a quarterback, and he's just a sophomore. So perhaps he's the QB of the future. For the time being, 2nd and 3rd at the 31-yard line. The Boxers with the ball and with 3 receivers in. Draw play, Mosley gets the first down out to the 37-yard line, and the Boxers will quickly stop the clock there with 1:06 to play, so 7 seconds tick off the clock. Plenty of time now.
Clock stops because it's first down. They'll go right back into it.
No timeout called. They stop it to move the chains. And the Boxers with the clock running inside of 1 minute. A flag flies at the snap, and the ball thrown behind Patrick Velios.
That's probably procedure, I would guess, or maybe offsides, because Brockton used the no huddle. Maybe they caught a white shirt in the neutral zone there. Let's take a look here.
It is against Brockton. Legal motion. Someone moved early. That's the risk of the 2-minute offense.
Yes, it is. You got to make sure everybody is set before you move.
Boxers leading by a touchdown. They scored on their very first drive. Their second play from scrimmage, 68 yards by Michael Bourne. Jason Mosley has a 2-yard second quarter touchdown, but New Bedford came back. Chris Gomes going in from 1 yard out to make it a 1-touchdown game. And again, the straight drop, a little bit of a stumble for Shaheen. He throws short. Velios wants to get out of bounds and does, I believe, across the 40-yard line.
Smart play right there. Armin Colombo knows he wants to keep that clock stopped as much as possible. Not going to call a pattern going in dead man's land behind the linebackers. You're going to see a lot of balls thrown to the sidelines right now. One of these passes, Shaheen's going to air it out.
Gain of 7, second down and 3 at the 43 with 50 seconds left in the first half. And Alan Bursey getting some time at receiver. And there is the longer pattern. Semper in and out of his hands. Coverage on the play by John Casey, the strong safety, and Correa was behind Semper.
Alan Bursey ran a flag pattern straight down the sideline and was wide open because Semper was attracting 2 and 3 men.
So Bursey, who saw time at wide receiver in the opener against Wagner, but has been relegated to kicking duty since then, in here on a key first half drive. Semper checks out now. Bursey stays in along with Bellios.
Where's Mike Landers?
So Michael Landers is the missing person in the receiving corps right now. But the Boxers will run it anyway. Bourne tripped up. Good work by Chris Gula. Penetrated, seemed to be blocked out of the play, but got a hand apparently on Bourne and stops him for no gain.
And he does a
Brings
little
up
bit of celebrating. We have the Tomahawk Chop going by the Whaler marching band. I don't know, can you do that with the whale?
Harpoons. Get the
Yeah,
harpoons
harpoon. The harpoonahawk. The harpoonahawk or something like that? I don't know. I'm making up words as I go along. I don't know.
From the Whaling City, I guess. Everybody joining the Tomahawk Chop Club. It's become the thing to do.
I guess so.
37 seconds left. The Boxers with a timeout. 4th down and 3 from their 43. So now it's a question of whether they give it another shot or just decide to punt it away and try to stop New Bedford deep in their zone.
Now, Tim, I like the strategy of this band. They're not doing one beat. They're picking it up. They're getting their cheerleaders warm by moving their arms like that.
It's a little more intense.
I like that. I like that. They got a good workout there.
That was Rudy Bulgar you saw on the sidelines. He's the sophomore defensive back that we were talking about a moment ago, who is the heir apparent to Matt Trahan. And in fact, Bulgar is warming up, throwing the ball on the sidelines. I don't know whether Trahan is shaken up or whether Bulgar is just trying to keep his hands warm.
Trying to find him on the sidelines. Yeah, no, he looks all right. Maybe just trying to keep warm.
So 4th down. And Bursey to kick. They go into punting formation. Correa is the deep man. Remember the great return he had on the last kickoff. Good rush. John Casey put on a good rush on Bursey, and the kick doesn't do much bouncing down to the 26-yard line. And the Boxers try to kill a couple of seconds off the clock by waiting to down the ball.
Actually, we're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Jason Persampieri has his hands up in the air, so it might be on big number 7-0. We'll have to take a look here. It was after the play was called dead.
Now the referee just indicating unsportsmanlike conduct, but didn't indicate which way.
Which team it's on. Let's see here.
And they're marching the ball off against New Bedford, so it is the Whalers guilty of the unsportsmanlike conduct.
You know, usually the player who's holding his hands up and pleading to the ref, no, it wasn't me, it was him. Not this time, though.
That'll push the Whalers back to their own, call it the 17-yard line, and they have 24 seconds in which to go the distance and try to even this ball game up. First down and 10, the Whalers. First down and 10, the Whalers with 2 wide receivers, but they'll just down the ball and be content to take a 7-point deficit into the locker room. An impressive performance, really, by the New Bedford Whalers in the first half. Stalled by the Boxer defense twice, deep in Boxer territory, coming up with the big play to Correa and the 1-yard touchdown run by Gomes, and closing to within 7 of the Boxers here at Marciano Stadium. So it's still anybody's ball game in the battle for the Big 3 conference crown and a trip to the postseason. That's what's at stake today. We'll have the halftime show of the Brockton Marching Band and halftime statistics for you. Don't you go away. with a 14-7 Brockton lead. And it is a close game. It's been played like a close game. Two big plays by Brockton. The difference really, each one leading to a score, one directly, one indirectly. But a big play offense that New Bedford has shown, as well as the ability to sustain a drive, has kept them in this game. And now they'll get the ball to start the second half, as the Boxers had won the toss. Looking at the first half numbers, you see the 212 total yards by New Bedford, far outdistancing Brockton. Actually, that can't be correct. Well, you got it's backwards is what we have. All right, 212 for Brockton, but remember, about 150 of that 212 yards for Brockton came on two plays, the 68-yard run by Bourne and the 79-yard screen pass to Belanger. So the Boxers do have the edge in yardage, but it's been a well-played game by both teams. A couple of penalties deep in Brockton territory hurt the Whalers, but now they'll start the second half with the ball, a chance to tie the game up. As Alan Bursey kicks off. And back deep, Jeff Correa and JoJo Goodine. It'll be the running back, the sophomore Goodine, across the 20. Goodine hit by Larry Stroud and taken down near the 30-yard line. And that's where New Bedford will start, Steve.
See if New Bedford, what they need is one of those drives that they had continuously had in the first half. They can tie this baby up, it's anybody's game. I mean, in reality, New Bedford could have gone into the halftime break with the lead.
Well, I believe except for the two big plays by Brockton, that generally speaking, the offense of New Bedford has played better today.
Yeah, I'd have to agree
Brockton.
with you right there.
They sustained that 12-play drive early on, just couldn't score. And they finally cashed in late in the first half to close within 7. Correa goes in motion. Sharik Mendez, the carry, gets underneath a couple of tacklers, but doesn't get past Reardon or Persampieri. I think both are on the tackle, actually, and Mendez won't get much there.
Danny Reardon made that tackle on his knees. He was on his knees, and Mendez ran
right
right up to him.
He had to get on his knees to go head-to-head with Mendez.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Problem.
He was about even height when Danny was on his knees.
Come here, little guy. So no gain, 2nd and 10 at the 31. Derek Duclos is the receiver at the bottom of your screen, and Jeff Correa, easily recognized with those red legs up at the top. And rolling left is Trahan, so look for Correa. He is the intended receiver, but it'll be short and wide. Funny, Steve, we talked in the pregame about Trahan's tendency to over-lead his receivers when rolling right and throwing right. Here he's rolling left, throwing left, and he led Correa too much onto the sideline.
That wasn't off by too much, though. You're talking maybe a few inches.
Brings
Now,
up 3rd and 10.
Brockton brings in their extra defensive back. Psychos will go out. Larry Stroud's in number 42. He'll line up to the right of Craig Bernard.
Correa not split very wide left. And lots of time for Trahan. Over the middle for Duclos, way off the mark, and they will call Jacques down, but it is an interception. Picard Jacques put the knee down as he caught it, but his second interception of the day stops the Whaler drive, and the Boxers take over near midfield.
That wasn't even close. Picard Jacques just playing his zone defense and didn't have to do anything.
Duclos, the intended receiver on the crossing pattern, and it just was too far for him to even make an effort.
Beautiful block by Goodine on Craig Bernard, but watch this right here. Jacques is all alone, and nice call. He did have his knee down. Brockton possession, though.
1st and 10 from their 46. Picard Jacques came into the day, really the only of the 4 starting defensive backs without an interception. He's got 2 picks today, so he's joined the club quickly, and Bourne quickly picks up 9 yards into New Bedford territory.
You know, when Brockton played Leominster 2 weeks ago, it was a heck of a game the first half. Second half, Brockton came out, completely shut down Leominster. They received the ball, second half, completely shut Leominster down, and then their offense went to work, gaining huge chunks of yardage and working the clock. Look for the same to happen today.
Very often, the first couple of minutes of the second half will dictate the remainder of the game, and here we have the New Bedford turnover. And now Bourne picking up 8 yards on 1st down. Quick shifts in the New Bedford defense. And now Mosley in motion. Keeper by Shaheen. He decides to stay up and gets an extra 4 yards, maybe 5 out of it. Getting the 1st down with ease.
quarterbacks look so lost when they keep the ball. Like they're looking for somebody to help them.
With the possible exception of Randall Cunningham and Steve Young.
Yeah,
but,
that's about it. But even Steve Young likes to scramble. I mean, he likes running out of the pass formation. But Mike got the job done. It's only supposed to gain a yard or two.
You got 6
up the first.
To the 40-yard line of New Bedford. The Boxers leading by a touchdown, 14-7, opening minutes of the third quarter. And Michael Bourne again lowers the head and is bumped across the line by TJ Goodine. Gain of perhaps 2 for Michael. They'll call it a short 2.
Again, Brockton not doing anything fancy, running off tackle, this time behind Sykos and Reardon. Cardoso and Chris Gula, little Chris Gula, 5'1", 165, may not have a lot of size, but he's clogging up the holes. He's very small and shifty, and obviously he's got a good sense because he's hitting the ball carrier right at the line.
Second down and 8 at the 38. And again, Mosley in motion. And Bourne will follow Jason and Belanger and stay on his feet. Gets popped a couple of times and manages to get back across the line of scrimmage where there was nothing initially. Correa got into the backfield, but good second and third efforts by Michael Bourne picks up an extra couple of yards.
Like a little pinball action right there. Get hit, pop back, keep the legs driving, go forward again.
Oh, we talk about Chris Gula, a 5'1" nose guard. Obviously, even a non-football fan would assume that size is the first prerequisite for alignment. But quickness, strength, and certainly desire are also weapons. And
that's why
you may not have all of them, but you have some of them. You're going to be in there, and he's done the job. So third down and 6 for the Boxers. It was a gain of a short 2 for Bourne. And the screen pass again. Mosley will get nowhere and lose yardage back to the 45. Great coverage on the play by 56. Coming out of on the second team, Jonathan Snow.
Very well defended by New Bedford. It seems that they were looking for that. Shaheen went back, and just by the way he's motioning, you can tell he's looking to just dump it out. Looks to the left. New Bedford knew he was just going to dump it out. In fact, he was still backpedaling as he released the ball.
Jonathan Snow, the reserve defensive end, senior, read the play well and hit Mosley with a big 8-yard loss. Bursey to kick under a little pressure, and he gets a good roll out of it. Gonzalez, the intended deep man, but he won't get a chance to return it. Someone on the field, as the ball was kicked, yelling at the referee. That's illegal, ref. But I didn't see it. Neither did the
I didn't see
referee.
it either. Don't know what exactly the person was screaming about. Looked perfectly legal to me, but then again, I'm biased.
So a good roll for Bursey gets it down to the 14-yard line, where New Bedford will get their second possession of the second half, excuse me, as the first one ended with the Picard-Jacques interception. And the passing formation in again. Duclos and Correa practically hand in hand on the near side of the field. It's JoJo Goodine for about 2. Craig Bernard on the stop.
Brockton looks like they made a little adjustment on the line because New Bedford's not able to get outside right now. Their running game, although it's very early in the second half, has been non-existent. In their passing game, the only time they went through the air was intercepted. So positive things happening for Brockton on the defensive side of the ball, not on the offensive side.
Goodine was impressive on that opening drive of New Bedford, but really hasn't seen much action. Mendez has been the primary ball carrier since then. And the fake to Goodine now, a little play action for Trahan, and this may be, no, it's caught. Nope,
no, it's
TJ
not.
Goodine couldn't hang on. Looked as if it was a prime candidate for interception, but Goodine made a good effort. The tight end just couldn't come up with it.
Nice toss. Watch this right here.
Trahan, as we said, rarely stays in the pocket.
Just a little out pattern, all timing right here. Goodine almost came down with it. Watch, you're going to see the ball hit the ground and pop right out. Nice coverage. It's just when you run a pattern like that, that's a timing pattern, and he makes the catch, there's really no way you can defend it. Very tough job to do.
Third down 9 at the 15. Trahan, there's the short drop like he hit Correa with the first half. And this time it's the same pattern, but won't get much in the way of yardage. Certainly won't get the 43 yards they picked up on the second quarter drive that led to the touchdown. And it'll bring up 4th down. Now, again, looking back at that first drive, which was certainly the most impressive drive for either team in the game, and the key plays on that drive were JoJo Goodine out of the backfield twice making excellent catches
beautiful
of
catches.
poorly thrown balls, and Goodine has just been non-existent since then. So.
Well, he's non-existent right now. Again, maybe using a little coaching finesse. You take him out of the game for a while, but when it comes down to crunch time and the game is still close, that's when you go to him, because Brockton won't be expecting him. They'll be looking to cover Correa and Goodine and Duclos. That's when you send the little back out there and possibly pick up a big gainer on a short little screener.
As you look at Chris Gomes, who has the one score, he plays at the linebacker spot on defense and comes off now as special teams. Actually, as the chains come on, they're going to measure this after all.
Didn't even look close.
But Gomes picked up the only touchdown on a short carry.
Must have been a generous spot, I'll tell you that. That didn't look close.
It will be short. Perhaps New Bedford requested a measurement because the ball was on the completely opposite side of the field from the chains, and what they find out is that they're about a foot short. But at their own 24-yard line, no place to gamble there. And a timeout called by the Whalers as they prepare for what I assume will be a punt. 5:23 to go, third quarter. The Boxers leading 14-7. They scored early on a Michael Bourne 68-yard run. They scored in the second quarter. Jason Mosley going in from 2 yards out. And Chris Gomes coming up with the 1-yard touchdown run for the Whalers late in the first half. But both teams have had other opportunities. New Bedford really with the best opportunities to score a couple of times in the first half. 2 interceptions by Picard Jacques have helped the Boxer defense keep the Whalers to 7 points. A reminder once again that we'll select our Cape Cod Cafe most valuable player of the game at the conclusion of today's telecast. And a reminder to join us here on Thanksgiving Day, 10 o'clock, the traditional Turkey Day starting time against Weymouth. As they come to town, the Boxers again eager to avenge the last-second loss. They've got that fine quarterback.
And that's about it, though.
But not much more. Started the season highly ranked, and it's just been determined that they simply don't have the offensive weapons to support the quarterback. Mark Stanton, sorry. And they'll be here next weekend. I mean, the following next weekend on Thanksgiving Day, the final regular season game. But of course, no one gave Weymouth much of a shot at beating Brockton last year either. And so I'm sure they're thinking surprise all over again. Trahan's still in there. Looks as if the Whalers will go for it on 4th and short. A gutsy call by Hamlet. Correa in motion, a long count. Trahan trying to draw the Boxers offside. Trahan rolls, hit by Mosley for a loss, and the Boxers take over.
He was trying to draw Brockton offside. I'm sure that was the first thing that he wanted to do. I'm not sure that Hamlet wanted to run through with that play.
No, that's the kind of play you take the long call, you see if you get the offsides, you call the timeout.
And you call the timeout.
You know, before the 30 seconds runs out.
There's too much time left in the game to go for it on 4th down in this area.
I agree.
I don't agree with Wayne Hamlet's coaching philosophy right there.
They've moved the ball well enough throughout the day that with the entire 4th quarter and half of the second quarter, the 3rd quarter to play, they could still get something going. Now they've given the Boxers the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 23. And Lucian Belanger across the 20 to the 18-yard line. Stop on the play by Kevin Bernardo.
I just don't understand why Wayne Hamlet went for it on that 4th down. The game is within reach, and That might be a 14-point turnaround if Brockton goes in.
If the Boxers score, then that will be a huge play.
Yeah, could be a 2-touchdown turnaround.
Second down, 6, just outside the 18-yard line. Shaheen falls down. They will mark him down. Remember, again, a player touches the knee to the ground while he has the ball, and he's down, regardless of who is near him. And Shaheen slipped just as he handed it off. He did get it away, but not before touching the knee to the ground, and it'll be a loss of about 4 yards for the Boxers. Tough break.
So it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards. Again, another passing situation. Well, they're going to call it a loss of 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Yeah,
now.
back at the 22-yard line. So 3rd down, 9 from there.
2 tight ends still in. They're going to keep it on the ground.
Bourne, nice tackle.
55, Rich Ribeiro in on there.
John Casey, the strong safety, also helping out. The two of them stopped Bourne after a gain of about 5, well short of the first down, and now the Boxers in a much better position to be calling for it on 4th down.
Absolutely. I mean,
Than the New Bedford Whalers were, and they'll take the timeout to discuss it.
I didn't even think Garmin Colombo would call a timeout. I mean, there's no question in anybody's mind that he doesn't have to, but he will go for it right here. He's got very little to lose.
It'll be 4th down, 4 at the 16-yard line. 3:31 to play, 3rd quarter. Boxers leading by a touchdown. Just moments ago, New Bedford electing to go for it on 4th and about a foot at their own 24-yard line. And of course, if the Boxers don't convert here, then it's not a bad call. But if the Boxers do get the 1st down and keep the drive alive and end up scoring, Wayne Hamlet won't sleep well tonight if this one ends within a touchdown.
I still say it's a bad call because you're still caught deep in your own end. And although New Bedford moved very well during the first half, in 2 possessions, they've moved virtually nowhere. I'd hate to see it come down to that, but very well may come down to that. Very slow-moving 3rd quarter, a lot of timeouts, some passes here and there, clock stopping after every play.
The New Bedford band, they were here throughout, but did not perform at halftime. I tell you, the Boxer band, Kevin Delaney, the trumpet soloist, he's getting a rock star following.
He
comes
sure
onto
is,
that
isn't
field,
he?
the crowd anticipates. You hear the people calling his name in the stands.
That's
a little
his father.
unusual for a... I'm hearing female voices, young
his
female
father's
voices.
passing out pamphlets.
Kevin Delaney does a fine job. 4th down, 4. And through the hole goes Bourne. He seems to have it. No problem. Boxers 1st down.
Big play right there.
Credit the offensive line for
Great
flattening the opposition.
there. Great movement right off the line. Big play, and Brockton comes through goal.
The ball marked at the 9, so it'll be 1st and goal for Bourne, and watch the way it develops. See everybody, Belanger and Mosley helping out the line to clear a hole for Michael Bourne, and he picked up the necessary yardage. +2 to the 9-yard line. Now spinning is Belanger. Finally gets a knee down inside the 5-yard line, but a great run by Belanger on 1st down.
Second effort does it every time for Lucian Belanger.
2nd and goal, Brockton.
Gain of 7 on the carry for the Boxer captain. Shaheen hustles in with the play as we approach the 2.5-minute mark of quarter number 3. 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. It's Bourne, airborne, and pushed backwards.
Rounded.
Got to the 1-yard line, and then back to the 3-yard line.
Well, they're still... They can get a 1st down there. No, they can't.
No, it'll be 3rd down goal from the 1.
Yeah.
They were at the 9 to start the drive, to start the 1st down. And they need pay dirt or nothing here. Belanger touchdown. 1-yard carry for Belanger. And that call by Wayne Hamlet looks bigger now.
It sure does. I'm sure he's going to have nightmares too tonight.
With 1:41 to play in the third quarter, the Boxers extend the lead with Belanger getting the credit, but some thanks going to New Bedford coach Wayne Hamlet, who elected to go for it on 4th down and about a foot at the New Bedford 24-yard line. They lost yardage, turned the ball over, and the Boxers finish off the 24-yard drive with the Belanger score. Alan Bursey for his 3rd of the day. It's good. Bursey's been perfect. And the Boxers open up the 14-point lead for the 2nd time today. $28 more contributed by the Cape Cod Cafe to the Brockton High School Athletic Fund, and we're knocking on the door of 900.
We sure are.
$896 on the season contributed by the Cape Cod Cafe to the sports programs here at Brockton High School. Jim Jamoulis and the gang just about at the $900 mark, and this one's not over yet with one more game to play.
I can guarantee that it will be 1,000 before Weymouth is over.
You can set that as a goal as the Boxers now lead 21-7. Touchdowns by Michael Bourne, Jason Mosley, and Lucian Belanger, the 3 men in the backfield, all getting a piece of the action.
Spreading the wealth, as it's called.
That's Mike Anderson and Jason Molio. Anderson, 41, was the one to clue in Molio. Hey, we're on. Neither one has seen any action thus far today.
They're probably cold in the sidelines.
Molio and Anderson, both sophomores, JV players. And here's an interesting formation. That one did not, yeah, it did go 10 yards, just barely. And have you ever seen an onside kick with that formation before?
I'm telling you, number 70, Steve Simbron, is a little bit shocked right now.
Steve's going into therapy after this game.
He wants to sit down right now. He took about 5 hits from 5 different black shirts.
Can we see that again? 11 Boxers coming at him from 10 yards away.
Wow.
I have never. We're gonna let this first play from scrimmage roll, so the Whalers get good field position, courtesy of the good hands of Steve Simbron. 1st and 10 from their 46. The keeper from Trahan now to give to Goodine on the option, and Goodine a good carry, 7 yards out across midfield. Let's take a look at the kickoff once again.
I wouldn't want to be Simbron right here. I'll watch this.
It's Belanger who does the kicking.
Watch how many hits he takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my! Wow. Nice camera work by Chris Miller down there.
Let's save that for the highlight reel.
Save that for positions I do not want to be in. Should be on the far side or something like that. Oh.
JoJo Goodine on 2nd down and short will come up a little bit short of the 1st down. I think Woody Hayes used to use a drill like that in daily practices for the players who,
a lot of coaches
who needed it.
That was before he took to hitting opposing players.
Winding down to the final 30 seconds of the 3rd quarter. A 3rd and 1 facing the Whalers at the 45, close to the 46 of Brockton. In fact, it's closer to 2 yards, and this should be the final play of the quarter. Important for the Whalers to get the 1st down here, now trailing by 14 points. And with decent field position, Trahan on the fake to throw, play action, and falling down is the intended receiver.
Goodine?
The tight end, TJ Goodine.
Almost picked too, Tim.
Yeah, had not been touched, and the big man just went down, lost his balance.
Now Correa's coming back to the huddle saying, hey, I'm wide open, pal.
That stops the clock with 13 seconds to play in the quarter, and for at least the 4th time today, it's go for it time for the Whalers. 4th and 2 at the 46-yard line of Brockton. Duclos and Correa both to the near side. Mendez and Goodine in the backfield. Now Correa goes in motion. Semper, his track mate, follows him. And Trahan has the 1st down. Good carry by the quarterback.
That should do it for the 1st. No, it won't. Well, it
stop
should
the clock
really.
to move the chains.
They'll move the chains and they'll let it go down.
The Whalers won't get another play off as the clock winds down now to the final seconds. They are in Brockton territory with a 1st down at the 42. trailing by 14 with 11 minutes to play. We'll have the fourth quarter for you in just a moment.
Seven 3206.
Ready for the fourth quarter, and taking a look at some of the numbers, individual numbers on the day. Matt Trahan, 80 yards passing, 6 for 14. And Correa, the primary receiver. How about the Boxers? Who we have? Michael Bourne, where's he at
He's
for
over
yardage
100,
right now?
about 140 yards, 137 yards on 14 rushes. And Mike Shaheen,
4 for 5.
89 yards. So
79 of those on the screen pass to Belanger,
hey,
however.
take it any way you can get it, right?
No matter how you get it, just get it.
It's on the books as that.
First and 10 for the Whalers at the 42-yard line of Brockton. They need 2 touchdowns.
Nice draw. No.
Fake to Goodine and tipped, intended for Duclos. Correa was wide open.
Good thing it was tipped because Troy Semper had number 5 all over that one.
Absolutely, Duclos kept it out of Semper's hands, but Correa had beaten the coverage downfield. Jacques and Semper were there between the 2 receivers, but no one was going to stop Correa if Trahan had hit him downfield. So second down 10 at the 42. New Bedford band trying to kick up a little excitement on the visitor's side of the field. That looked like motion.
It sure did.
The fake to Mendez and the give to Goodine, but it appeared that the entire offensive line was a little quick off the ball. Perhaps Trahan was just a little slow pulling it back from the center.
Didn't stop Mike Landis from stopping Goodine, though. That was a nice play by number 12. Been quiet today. Only been in on a few tackles.
He did make the tackle on Jeff Correa, stopped him from scoring on the 42-yard screen pass. Boxers go to the, actually we got, I think, the 6 defensive backs now on 3rd and 9, as Kenny Legault is in, number 43. And Trahan in the pocket. Correa, the intended receiver, through his hands, through the hands of Jacques, and incomplete, 4th down again.
Again, if these passes aren't tipped, Picard Jacques had an interception. Brockton is playing a zone defense, but on Correa, they're sticking 2 and 3 men on him. They're taking him right out of the game. They've already got burnt by him once. They don't want it to happen again.
Now, on their previous possession, New Bedford going for it, 4th and short at their own 24. Gave the ball back to the Boxers, who ended up scoring and opening up the 14-point lead. Now there's no question. They're at the 40 of Brockton and need 9 yards for the first down. They'll have to go.
Again, it looked like they started early.
Landers and
That's
Trahan.
grounding. No grounding? Wow.
Well, you know, Mendez was there.
Now there was a lineman there, number 63, it looked like.
And I think Mendez was close enough for the officials to say that Trahan was intending to get it. Mendez has been the guy that Trahan has gone to when he's been in trouble. He was in real trouble. Mike Landers in the backfield, the blitz getting to Trahan, and not only
safety blitz, cornerback
turning the
blitz,
ball over.
Watch Mike Landers. Now there's Mendez to the left.
Yeah, I think he's close enough.
Yeah, I think
anyway.
number 63 was too. Ryan Greg Seguin, who went out a couple weeks ago, and this is his first game back.
So the Boxers get the ball on downs again. 4th time today that's happened, this time at their own 40-yard line. And Mike Bourne gets out to the 43 on the first carry.
I think New Bedford's balloon is deflated right now. They've been harpooned.
They could use a turnover. Now with 9:35 to play.
And you know Brockton's not going to put it in the air. They're just going to work on the clock for the last 9 minutes.
Not until and unless they have to. And right now it's 2nd and 7. They can afford to keep it on the ground. A fake, excellent fake by Shaheen. And he still won't go down. He's across midfield, has the first down, and then is ridden out of bounds finally. Derek Conciso.
Couldn't shake him. Shaheen carrying him like a piece of luggage there.
An outstanding fake by Shaheen. Watch
Beautiful
the way he
play
tucks
action.
it behind the back with
It's
the
in
left
his
hand.
Now there he goes. He takes off.
And Conciso ran him down, but couldn't bring him down. And a piece of the jersey. But Mike got all the way to the 48-yard line, enough for the first down. The 48 of New Bedford, I should say. And Bourne picking up 6 to the 43. Call it 5. Second down and 5. The clock continues to run. 21-7 Brockton, fourth quarter. This game to determine the championship of the Big Three Conference, and will also determine which team will go on to postseason play in the Division 1A playoff game, the format that was instituted last year.
If New Bedford wins, they still have to get by Durfee.
Absolutely.
But if Brockton wins, they're going. Thanksgiving Day means nothing.
Absolutely.
Except a win.
It's a sure thing if Brockton wins. It's not completely settled if New Bedford were to come back. Bourne is met quickly by Correa and gets only about a yard on the carry. So Durfee and New Bedford in the final Big Three game on Thanksgiving Day. And the Boxers with Weymouth, Zafarian and St. John's Prep in another big game to determine what will happen. North Quincy, I trust, is playing Quincy.
Yeah, but North Quincy on their enrollment. They're a small school, although I heard they're bigger than a lot of people think they are.
Yeah, there is a chance.
Enrollment-wise.
There is a chance that they could be an opponent for Brockton. Mosley!
Face mask.
Jason Big Train Mosley motoring through the defensive secondary, drawing a flag at the end of the play for a face mask penalty.
Now,
boy, did he explode through that line.
Could you imagine the score if Brockton played North Quincy? If there was one team that Brockton wanted to run it up on, as we look at Jason Mosley right over. Look at this.
And there's the face
Nice
mask.
dish.
Chris Gomes will get the call.
If there was one team that Brockton would run it up on, it has to be one of the Quincy's, because they're the one who started this logjam with the MIAA. They're the ones who tried to cop out of the Suburban League because they didn't want to play Brockton, and they started everything.
Yeah, North Quincy and Quincy were given permission to not play Brockton even when they were still in the same league, and that got the whole snowball going. The penalty got the Boxers down to the 24-yard line. Bourne from there, good for 2 yards, and the clock inside of 6.5 minutes to play. So the Boxers, with a win today, would clinch the Big Three conference title. Zavarian and St. John's both undefeated in Catholic Conference play, both at 3-0, and so the winner will determine the conference champion, but won't necessarily determine the Boxer opponent, again, because of the enrollment question. The Greater Boston League, still anybody's ball game with Arlington and Waltham.
Arlington has the shoe in there because Arlington beat Waltham.
That's right, both with one loss, but Arlington defeating Waltham, so they have the edge there in the Greater Boston League. And another flag as Bourne goes over the left side. Belanger is saying, "What, me?"
You know, it was a beautiful block by Lucian Belanger. I'd like to see, they're going to call a hold, and it was just a beautiful piece of blocking by the Brockton offensive line.
So this will come back 10 yards from the point of the foul.
It's just a beautiful running play.
So as this one's marched back, we'll just try to set the scene for you. North Quincy has pretty much claimed the Old Colony League title. They are undefeated in the league. No one else has fewer than 2 losses. North Quincy is at Taunton today and will finish up with Quincy on Thanksgiving Day. So it appears that North Quincy should be one of the 4 teams in postseason play. Brockton with a win today would secure a spot. Arlington will play Revere today at home as Shaheen goes long, too long for Steve Pina. And that'll bring up 3rd down and long. So Arlington hosting Revere today and then playing at Somerville on Thanksgiving Day. Somerville is not a pushover either.
No,
So should
no.
Arlington lose on Thanksgiving Day, that will throw the Greater Boston League into a confusion again. So if Brockton holds on today, the Boxers will go on. North Quincy should secure a spot with a win over Taunton, but that's not exactly
Taunton has
etched in
that
stone
great
either.
back, A.J. Vieira.
Exactly, Vieira, a fine running back. And so those two meet up today, and then it could be Arlington, it could be Waltham in the Greater Boston League, it could be Xaverian, and it could be St. John's Prep in the Catholic Conference. So much to be settled still on Thanksgiving Day, even if this one plays out as it has so far. 3rd down, 17, and all alone is Semper, short of 1st down yardage by a couple of yards. Coverage
But
by Conceição, but
in Gopher territory, definitely.
absolutely about a yard short at the 15-yard line.
And the clock will continue to run because they don't have to move the chains.
Call it a yard and a half, so we're inside of 5 minutes to play, and a long yard for the Boxers for the 1st down, and a 1st down here would really nail it for them. Mercy in there along with Semper and Velios at the receiver spots. But it'll be Mosley, Jason Mosley. The spin on the 2nd effort gets the 1st down. And that's big. That's very big for the Boxers, keeping the drive going and getting inside the 15-yard line of New Bedford. As the clock runs down to 4:25,
They can
New
still
Bedford is
get,
watching its last hopes.
they can still get another 1st down at the 3-yard line. So this clock should continue to run and run and run unless Brockton scores, of course.
The key there was even had New Bedford stopped Brockton, they'd have had 85 yards to go to get one score with another one still needed to get back in this game. Belanger straight ahead. Lucian Belanger inside the 5.
Maybe
And
another
close to
first
another
down.
1st down.
Yeah. But the clock shouldn't stop because it's going to be goal, and it doesn't matter. They can't move the chains anyhow. So the clock will continue to roll, and that's pretty good because I'm starting to get cold up here at Marciano Stadium. I'm not going to lie to anyone.
This time of year, the sun gets awfully low by the end of the day, as you see Belanger going head-to-head with the defensive secondary, and finally T.J. Goodine able to get him. And Belanger again stopped just short of pay dirt, but has the 1st down. And the clock will start again as they move the chains. It'll be 1st and goal.
Move the chains where? Yeah, they stopped it for a second. And
Doesn't take long down there.
Yeah.
1st and goal at the 2, and 3 minutes to play. Boxers trying to nail down a victory, leading 21-7. This is Bourne. Touchdown. 2nd of the day for Bourne. And the 13th of the season for Michael. More importantly, it pretty much puts this one out of reach for the New Bedford Whalers and gives the Boxers a Big 3 Conference championship, their 2nd in the 2 years of the league.
13 plays, 60-yard drive.
Just what the
Very
doctor ordered.
impressive.
Just
Very
what the
impressive.
doctor ordered for the
There's
Boxers
only
in
one
this situation.
pass in the play. That no good.
Mercy's kick is no good. The first one he misses today, and the score remains 27-7. The Boxers trying to put it away, and with that touchdown by Michael Bourne, they cross the $900 mark in the Cape Cod Cafe's Dollars for Points program. 24 more dollars into the kitty, 920 on the season here in game number 9. So the Boxers on the verge of wrapping up their 2nd straight Big 3 Conference championship and securing a spot in the
Now,
2nd
hold on,
annual.
Hold on. We say 2nd.
Division
it's
1.
3rd straight.
This is the 3rd year of the Big 3
straight.
Conference.
The
All right,
first
the 2nd.
year was when. The first year was when New Bedford came up here, which was the real Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
When Peabody and Tewksbury played.
Absolutely, you're right.
Last year in New Bedford.
This is the second year of the new format.
Yeah,
with
all
the,
right, yeah.
With the 2 playoff games
Yeah.
in each division. But Steve's right, the 3rd straight Big 3 conference championship. But the Super Bowl format's still in effect during that first year.
Which is a joke right now.
And breathing a sigh of relief right now is number 70, Steve Cimbron, because the Boxers chose not to go with that 11-on-1 kickoff. This one gets into the end zone. Nice kick by Bursey for a touchback. And with 2:54 to play, the Boxer lead is 27-7. Looking for their 8th straight win. And we just heard that Susan E. Wagner, the one school to defeat Brockton this year, is on a roll, still undefeated, knocking off a top 15 nationally ranked team.
And they still weren't in the top 20. I mean, they're a great team who I'd love to see Brockton play now that they've gotten things together. But they're 9-0, and maybe this week they might jump into the Super 25. So that shows you how much that poll is worth.
And we saw him warming up in the second quarter, and again moments ago, Rudy Bulgar, the sophomore, on at quarterback.
Oh, he's got a wind-up. He's got to play baseball, I'm telling you.
Juan Marichal playing quarterback for the New Bedford Whalers. The sophomore, number 12, listed at 6'1", 165, and the quarterback of the future getting a chance to play here in the final minutes against some pretty good competition. So this is a good experience for Bulgar. Matrahan had some moments today, ran the option pretty well, made a couple of good short passes, but was off the mark a few times when it counted.
And I'm watching one of the Weymouth assistant coaches leaving, and he couldn't be too happy with what he saw today.
Bulgar now 0 for 2. He's got a rocket of an arm, but so far hasn't been close to his receivers.
He's throwing at strike level, right between the chest and knees.
Is that an American League strike?
Yeah, you know, matters on the umpire, I guess.
Bulgar getting a chance to play in mop-up time here. 3rd down and 10 now at the 20-yard line. And also some other new faces in there for New Bedford. Roberto Carter, a senior receiver, is in there, number 32. Fakes the draw play, now goes short to Goodine and can't connect on the screen pass. Would have been better off giving it to Goodine on the draw.
Goodine,
so it's 3 quick ones and out for the Whalers.
Non-existent after that first drive. I think we can go back and say the changing point of the game, though, was going on 4th and less than a yard on the 24-yard line. Ever since that play, it's just been Brockton's game.
Well, I've always appreciated aggressive coaching. I like to see coaches take chances, but there are limits. There are times when the stakes are just too high. As Jeff Correa.
Well, I mean, it was a 7-point game.
Away.
It was a 7-point game, and it quickly turned into a 14-point game. And I think that's where the tide
never got close
right
again.
There. Yeah. What I was saying earlier, a 14-point change. Not that I was sure that New Bedford wasn't could go down and score, but what it ended up being, it could have been a tie game if New Bedford went on to drive to score. Instead, Brockton scored, so I mean, it's a 14-point turnaround. Be talking to Armin Colombo after the game today. Be interesting to hear what he has to say. I'm sure he's happy with the second half play. First half wasn't bad, but we're used to such a high level of football here.
Belanger, good for 9 yards on first down. And into New Bedford territory.
We're used to seeing scores of 21-0 at halftime, and it's just a dose of reality. New Bedford came up. They were a very good football team for one half. Looked like they brought that intensity with them from last week's loss to Severian, but sooner or later you're going to get worn down by Brockton, and sure enough, it happened to Leominster 2 weeks ago. It happened to New Bedford today.
Inside of 2 minutes to play now, 2nd down and 1 at the 46-yard line of New Bedford. Yeah, the New Bedford team has been inconsistent.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, I think I used in our pregame intro there.
But they are young, and they have some talent, they have some speed, And they have a first-year coach who needs a little time to get comfortable with the players, Wayne Hamlet. So they have a future to look forward to. But for 1992, the Brockton Boxers will once again lay claim to the Big Three Conference Championship. 3rd down and 1, Belanger, as always, picking up the first down on 3rd and short and then exploding into the secondary for about 10 more to the 34-yard line. And again, the clock stops long enough to move the chains. In fact, they won't even wait. They'll let it run inside of a minute to play. And the Boxers set up for their season finale against Weymouth on Thanksgiving Day with their 8th straight victory. 40 seconds left, and all Shaheen has to do is down it. Shaheen may have to snap it one more time to avoid a delay of game whistle, but it is all over. It is all over. But the shouting as the Boxers, after their opening day humiliation, 35-6 at the hands of Susan E. Wagner High School, pick up their 8th straight win, their 2nd in the Big Three Conference for a 2-0 record, and the conference crown 3 straight years as champions of the Big Three with their 27-7 victory over New Bedford here at Marciano Stadium today. So the Boxers will go to the postseason play, to the Division 1A playoff game. Opponent still to be determined, as we said, but it will be Brockton there representing the Big Three Conference against the winner of either the Catholic Conference, Greater Boston League, or the Old Colony League in Division 1A play. Steve Valley has made his way down to the field to catch up with Coach Armand Colombo. We'll be joining them in just a moment. We'll also be selecting our Cape Cod Cafe player of the game in just a couple of minutes as we give you the final statistics for this one. The Boxers go to 8-1 with a chance to finish at 9-1 and are currently the #1 ranked team in Division 1 in Eastern Mass. Steve Valley with Armand Colombo.
Thank you, Tim. Listening to Armand.
Very, very, very proud of what they did, really. I just think that defensively, the one letdown that we had for their only touchdown, after that, once again, it was a situation in the locker room. The only thing we really said was that we shut them out, we win, and we go to Super Bowl. And now, Super Bowl, here we come, but we want to make sure that we don't overlook Thanksgiving.
Armand, I think we're spoiled here. We expect to see a 21-0 lead at halftime. Were you happy with the play of the first half?
Not at all. Not at all. I thought that we allowed them to control the ball much too much. We actually had the ball 17 times. Only we handled the ball 17 times the first half. 5 of those were at the end of the half. We scored quickly, but we did allow them to hold the ball a long time. And I would say possession was heavily in their favor the first half. And second half, I think it was, the defense took more control. I thought that, I don't know if they completed a pass in the second half, maybe one that I know of. And as far as I'm concerned, an all-around effort the way we've had from the very beginning of the year. And like I say, 10 weeks ago, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Same thing as Leominster. He came out, the first half was a little tight. Brockton having a tendency of wearing down opponents, it seems, for the second half.
I think that has something to do with it. I think the fact that we know what we're going to do, and we're going to come at you with the people that block real well. And it can get wearing as long as you have the ball long enough. And in the second half, we had the ball. I'd say possession turned right around. I would say possession was heavily in our favor second half, where the first half was just the opposite. And that's the reason for the close score going in at the half.
How are the kids going in? You haven't played in a week. I mean, obviously it's a big game in the line.
Yeah, I think basically the week off, you never know how it's going to affect them. It was a big game in our opinion, and we knew that they had some talented people. The Career is an excellent receiver, and the kid can throw the ball. and they had a couple of kids who run the ball well. We shut down their running game completely. I think that was probably a key to the game, the fact that they had to rely on pass exclusively. I don't know what they picked up total on the ground, but not too much.
Now, I thought the turning point of the game was when Wayne Hamill decided to go on a 4th and 1 from his 24. I thought after that, Brockton just controlled.
Yeah, I thought that was definitely a key point, no question about it. I think they thought that if they did kick to us, I think they probably thought that it would be tough to handle us. And I think it might not have been a bad call. The fact that we stopped them made it look bad. And I think that the play selection, I think they were trying to draw us offside, and I think the quarterback just went through it, and I think he more or less improvised. At least it looked that way.
That's the way I call it. Congratulations,
Thanks,
Armin.
Steve.
Win number 8. We'll see you Tuesday night.
Thank you.
All right, Timothy, let's send it back up to you, and we'll be back after Tim takes his turn with some stats.
The final statistics and the Cape Cod Cafe player of the game still coming up as the Boxers lay claim to the Big Three Conference Championship and a spot in what Armin Colombo still calls the Super Bowl. It's the Division 1A playoff game. So stay with us as we wrap up in just a moment. 27-7, the final score. The Boxers over the Whalers of New Bedford. So Big Three champs 3 years in a row. As long as the Big Three Conference has been around, the Boxers do it with the victory today over New Bedford. And as you and Coach Colombo pointed out, as we look at New Bedford coach Wayne Hamlet, it wasn't their best effort, but it was enough.
No. Again, the first half, there was the same thing in Leominster. They came out, the game was important. They didn't play that bad. It's just that we're used to such a high level of football here at Brockton, and we look at the stats. Of course, they're a little bit different from the first half. Look at the rushing, the pass came through, total domination, although the scoreboard didn't look like that. It was total domination the second half, and that's where you need it more so than the first half. They came out, exploded the second play of the game. They got by with that until the closing minutes of the second quarter. I mean, Brockton was the better team, but New Bedford surely isn't that far behind.
No, New Bedford, as we said, a young team that still has some growing to do under Coach Wayne Hamlet, and I'm sure they will do it.
And they will grow. Again, when I asked Armin about the play on 4th down, Hamlet would have looked like a genius if it worked.
If it works.
If it works, and that's the only drawback right there. I mean, we're keying on that as the game breaker, sure, but what if New Bedford made it? Again, I talked about that 14-point turnaround. They could have drove in for a score, but it didn't happen. Didn't end up like that. Brockton, another win.
All right, so Michael Bourne, 2 touchdowns, including the 68-yarder. Lucian Belanger with a score, and Jason Mosley with a score. But our Cape Cod Cafe player of the game is...
Take a guess.
This man, number 15, Picard Jacques, came into the day having a solid season in the defensive secondary, but the only one of the starting 4 in that backfield who had not picked off a pass. He picked off 2. They both stalled New Bedford drives that could have made this a very different game. So number 15, Picard Jacques, our Cape Cod Cafe player of the game. Congratulations, Picard. We are done here. Our Cape Cod Cafe dollars for points program is up over the $900 mark. We'll shoot for 1,000.
20, I think it was.
We'll shoot for 1,000 next week as the Weymouth team comes to town on Thanksgiving Day. Hope you'll...
To the Boxers, Armin Colombo. Welcome once again, Armin.
Thanks,